So, the first film that I'm going to be starting off this new series with is actually my second short film. And there's a reason why I'm not starting with my very first short film, which is called Silence. But I will eventually get to that film, and that should be kind of an interesting experience, because all of these films, obviously I've seen them many times because I've obviously worked on them, but at the same time there comes a point where I just try to just leave it behind. That's the purpose of the series, is just to try and essentially look back at the progression of I guess my filmmaking. And this film, The Shape, and my first short film, Silence, they're kind of unique in my filmography, in that they're the only two films that I've made that weren't done in a period where I was studying film. Also, on another matter, this film here I actually went back and re-edited while I was in my first year of college. They're both The Shape. You can watch whatever version, and it's the movie. I made it a short time after I made my first film, and it was, I don't even know what exactly spawned the idea, because there's not really much of a story to the thing. It's literally just a chase scene, and I just wanted to make something a little bit exciting. I made this when I was in my last year in secondary school, and a few of the people who had seen it actually thought it was quite scary. So I felt I sort of did a good job then, because that's kind of what I was just trying to do. I was trying to make something just a little bit scary, I guess. Something just which has a bit of an intense atmosphere in it. No story whatsoever. Well, technically there's a story, but nothing particularly deep. Just something a little bit exciting. And here we go. Yes, I've got a cameo of myself right there at the beginning, because I kind of generally like to kind of put myself in my films where I can. I really kind of do quite like that shot still. Washing machine playing in the background, which was not intended, but just the audio we had. Yeah, this was actually, it was all done just on camera sound. Again, I think after this, I always then would have used external sound that I would have put into it afterwards. Or edited with afterwards. Yeah. I remember there's a great thing with that last shot, in that it wasn't actually supposed to end the way it does, which was really great. And it was the actor I had, who was a friend of mine from school actually, who said Conor Galera, as he appears in the credits there. I think, actually, come to think of it, the reason why I got him in it was because I was looking for someone who was tall, and I think he was just one of the tallest people in my year, so I was just like, hey, do you want to be in this little film I'm doing? And that was kind of that. And I think that was the last time also I used people who were just like friends of mine. with the exclusion of Morgan, who was like an actor as well as a friend. I suppose obviously things that stand out about it is the camera quality, which is actually the same camera that I'm using to record this video. But for making a short film, like some of the focus in it is I'm just looking at the first proper shot there, with Morgan and myself just walking away, and just there's not really good enough focus in there, and then here, as much as I quite like this shot, and to be honest, I still think it's a pretty cool shot, and we tried to get it. It took a while to get it right, because what we were trying to do was get Cons standing in such a way that in such a position that when a car would drive past, then you would be able to see him. But even with that, like, you can just around the edges, it's got pretty noisy. But I don't know. I think I still kind of, there's something even about it, maybe because it's the quality is bad, that kind of adds to it. Then looking at this next shot actually here, I'm just seeing this now. What is up with that framing? Man, that is some weird ass framing. I don't know what I was thinking there. That's like, okay, again, I didn't really know much about framing at this stage, and in the grand scheme of things, cinematography is not really my strongest area. But at the same time, I don't know. This is another thing though. This was filmed by myself and another friend of mine, who actually worked on the next short as well. And I don't know who shot which shots. Like in the credits, it just credits the both of us, but I have no idea who shot what. So I don't know if I'm just complaining about something that he did, or if it's just me. I mean, because he's a pretty good photographer. I think at the time there was a lot of even just myself with ideas that he had. I would have just sort of thought, oh, that looks fine. We'll just go ahead. You know, if he thought of an idea, I kind of maybe didn't question much, which is a thing, obviously, to try and do always. That's that shot. Again, editing wise, actually, I gave this to one of my tutors from college. Just around when I began the course, and I asked him, like, could he just give some feedback on it, and editing was something which he definitely thought was like a standout problem in it, and I think I kind of fixed it in the second version, but like, again, it's not perfect. I didn't totally reshoot it. But yeah, even back then, I was like, editing was something which I was quite interested in, and I was hoping to improve it. So I guess maybe that was also kind of a reason why I went back and re-edited it, because I wanted to sort of maybe experiment with my editing, and just like, this was something that I had shot, and I thought, like, oh, let's try recut it in a slightly better way. And on another note, I should mention on the editing side of things, was that this 2016 version is the last film that I edited on Windows Movie Maker. I won't get into like the technicalities of it, but I can't believe I just went through all that madness. So what I did with the second one was, obviously, because we were studying film, we were editing was one of our modules, and we were using like a more professional software, which at the time was Final Cut Pro 7. And I really like that software actually. And so I cut it on that instead. Like what I kind of notice in some of them is some of the shots. Some of them go on a little longer than they need to. Like Morgan just walking off out of frame, and then there's nothing happening in the frame anymore. I don't know why I kept it like that, but it's what I did. And just noticing here, this shot here, I remember even thinking back at the time. I think this was something we didn't even get on the day, and I think it was like I came back the day after we shot all the main stuff. This is meant to be just a cutaway shot showing that the mysterious shape had disappeared, but the shot is so dark and you don't really know what's going on that it's not really clear that it's the same spot that the man was. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that was a shot I was really ever too happy with. And again, I think I might have gone and reshot that again in the second one, and I still wasn't happy with it. But whatever, it is what it is. Yeah. So here, shot goes on just a little bit too long, and even where he exits was something which kind of stood out, which I fixed in the second version. So here, like in the story, he's the idea is that like he's coming home, and he's trying to get out, and then he realizes his normal route is can't get out, so he just goes another way, and then out of nowhere, a mysterious randomer comes through that gate and is just staring at him. Now, this is kind of an interesting shot, actually, come to think of it, and I don't know why I chose to reshoot this shot, actually, because there's something about it that's just kind of creepy still. I kind of find about it, and maybe you could argue like that it could be shot better, but there's something that feels a bit like realistic. I don't know. Maybe again it's the camera quality and such, but I don't know. It's an interesting looking shot, which I still think kind of holds up. So yeah, then Morgan reacts to that, which you can barely even see the reaction on his face, because of the quality. And then this, oh yes, doing this was really hard to get right. Getting the speed of Con moving while I was moving backwards, or it could have been film, I don't remember. Again, I don't remember, but I do remember whoever shot it had a hard time trying to make sure that he was relatively still in shot while they came towards the camera, because there were times just like the camera would have been just going down and or too high up, and I think what we got there was pretty good. Yeah, the sound of this part really stands out. Yeah, actually, I'm turning down the volume here, because this is something which I only slightly fixed in the second edit. On the one hand, I think I cut it well together there, where the music hits while he clings to the gate, but at the same time, the music is way too loud. Goes down. There's a nice sort of floaty quality to the camera work there. And this is actually a pretty decent shot, definitely. Yeah, the cutting of the cutting between the second last and the last shots was a strange one, because like you see the door moving and then you see it moving a lot faster there. I think just as it is, the shot, that last shot is really awkward, and I don't know, to an extent it kind of almost works, because you're kind of left hanging there and you're wondering, what are we looking at? Why are we just looking at a door close? And then you see the shape appear. I don't know, I guess it kind of works. Maybe I'm giving myself too much credit here, but I don't know, it sort of works. And yeah, as the last image, it's pretty good. Yeah, I've always liked that last image, which again, Colin just on the day thought it might look a little bit better if you just grabbed Morgan and threw him into the room, and kind of just makes it a little bit more scary there, because the way it was written in the script, and I did have a script for this thing which was not even half a page long because of what happens in the whole thing, but in the script it literally just ended with Morgan like closing the door and the shape was right behind him, and that was just the end, and I kind of just wanted to end it with that. But we kept on shooting it like that, and we thought something isn't right, and then just thought of that idea of just him grabbing Morgan, and it just looked a lot better. But yeah, I think it's one of those things, like him grabbing Morgan. I think that did manage to work, like I was saying earlier about, like, you know, taking on other people's ideas and trying to figure out, like, does it work for the film. I think it's always a matter of just like trying it out, and trying it out if you can. If somebody comes up with a new idea, if you can in the moment, try that thing, then give it a go. But if it's an idea which totally changes your structure, how you were going to film the whole thing, then just don't do it, because it's a waste of time. As I kind of learned from later films, that's The Shape, 2016, and it was the last film I made before I started studying film in college. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it was just made as a bit of a test, because I was, from enjoying kind of the response some people were having to my very first film, I sort of thought, like, hey, why not just make something else, like, just even if it's just a really simple idea. And I just went out and got this thing done. And I don't know, I don't actually think I have any other instances quite like that in my filmography, where I've gone and made one thing and then thought, I want to go make another thing immediately after. Because often it's been the case, at least in maybe the past 2 years, it's been like, okay, I've made something, now I'll just leave it be, and I'll wait until something else comes along in about a year, and that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, anyway, so that's all I have to say about The Shape. There was another film that I made called Survival, which was a stop motion film, which do you know what? I will make that my next video, because there is some stuff I can say about that. Yeah, Survival will be the next one, which it's a stop motion film, and it's the only stop motion film that's actually available to see. So thanks for watching this, and I hope this series sort of plays out well. And if you've got any suggestions for maybe the format, please let me know. I'm gonna try to use that for any future videos. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.